Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of Cooking with Ant. And today's slightly a different episode because usually I would take some sort of kind of vintage, gross sounding recipe and recreate it and try it and tell you how gross or nice it is. But this time I'm going to be taking an accidental recipe from the TV show Friends. And if anyone says Friends is either vintage or retro, we're gonna fall out because that's gonna make me feel really old. It's not vintage and it's not retro, it's just classic, it's just timeless, okay? Well, it's not really timeless because certain things are a bit iffy, but still, it's a classic.
You're 34 years old.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit!
And we're going to be trying to recreate Rachel's disaster of a trifle.
Look at it, isn't it beautiful?
I love a good trifle. I don't think you can kind of go wrong with a trifle. And in the UK, trifle as a dessert is like, it's at the top. It's like a proper old school dish that just never goes out of date. You can't beat a trifle, you really can't. Unfortunately, in this episode, Rachel ended up making part of a cottage pie, I think, or a shepherd's pie. It must have been a cottage pie because she used beef mince, and if it was a shepherd's pie, she'd have used lamb mince. That's the difference, by the way. Which I don't understand how was possible. I know the pages were stuck together.
Chandler!
But still, your brain should have stopped at beef. But let's give this a go, and to be fair, I don't think it's going to be too bad. I'm actually quite looking forward to this. Okay, so I thought we'd start off with the meat portion of this first, and then we can kind of construct it. Right, I'll get this onion chopped first. I'm wondering as well, is trifle like a British traditional kind of dish? Or do other people have trifle? I feel like a trifle is just a universal dessert. I know it's popular in the UK. It used to be way more popular back in the day. But surely everyone has like their own kind of version of a trifle. I'm not sure how Rachel cut her onions up for a trifle. But I'm just going to do nice rainbows.
Gay.
Stick that in our pan. Now we want some mince. I've just bought Irish lean beef steak mince, 5% fat, and it was quite cheap. I think in America you call this ground meat, I think. Whereas in the UK, if you want meat that looks like that, this is called mincemeat. Not to be confused by a mincemeat pie, which doesn't have meat in it. And it's fruit. But if you get like a mince and potato pie, it's a meat pie. We're very confusing people. We have the same words for different things for some stupid reason. And I always find this meat to be incredibly deceptive because you think you've got like, oh, a giant pack of meat and there's just so much there. And then you actually cook it and it shrinks and there's nothing left. Right, in you go. Because you'll be thinking there, oh, there's so much meat in this and stuff, but there isn't. It's all gonna shrink down, I promise you. I hope so, because otherwise I've just cooked way too much meat. If I have any left over, I'll give it to the dogs. And while I'm on, oops, I'm just gonna stick some frozen peas in too. I feel like I don't make cooking look very kind of glamorous and stylish. I feel like I make cooking look proper awful and gross. Well, I suppose we've just got to wait for this to heat up and reduce itself down. I'm wanting a nice chilled day of trifle making today because yesterday, oh, the day I had at work was unreal. I had someone come in and just absolutely lash out, start throwing things at members of staff, cursing at everyone, effing, see you next Tuesdays, all the swear words you can think of. It was a lot. And it was towards the end of the shift as well. It was towards the end of like a 12-hour shift and you just can't be arsed with it.
Piss off.
I find it weird. I find it strange that people think it's acceptable to behave that way in any kind of situation. It's just so odd. I feel like it's becoming worse as well. I don't understand why people think it's okay. If I was with someone or I did something like that, which I never would, it would just be so embarrassing. You should go away from a situation like that and be like, yeah, I'm so embarrassed of myself that I behaved like that. Crazy, but that's what it is, unfortunately. So I'm wanting a delicious beef trifle today.
The beef sounds right.
Right, I think this is going to take a while to cook down, so I'll see you in a bit when we're ready for the next step. Okay, I feel like that's cooked enough. I always get a little bit worried about cooking meat because, I don't know, undercooked meat and raw meat, like I don't want worms. Simple as that. I don't want to get poorly and I don't want intestinal worms. So, I don't know, I get very, very paranoid about cooking meat. It's very, very rare I cook meals from scratch because I just don't have time for it. I can't be asked. It looks cooked to me. There's no pink bits or anything. And it's not like it's pork. Pork's the worst one. If you ever cooking pork, do not undercook pork because you can get worms and they can go to your brain.
Pork tapeworms.
Apparently, that's what I heard. We'll put this to one side. I have made too much. I can tell I've made too much. So the dogs are in for a treat. Okay, so I think that's all the preparation I need to do. So I need my trifle dish. Got a lovely glass bowl here, which will do perfectly well for a trifle. We need a layer of ladyfingers. Now, if you're new here and you don't know, I am gluten-free. I say it pretty much every video. And ladyfingers are basically like a sponge cake thing, which I can't eat. But I did find some gluten-free ones. They're called savoury-sweet, and they're also vegan. So if you're gluten-free or you're vegan or whatever, you might be interested in these. They probably taste like shit, but at least we can have them. I'll just try one first, just to tell you if they're any good. They literally taste like nothing. They taste like absolutely nothing. You could have tripled the sugar in there. There's no sugar in it at all. Oh my god, they're so bland. They're so unbelievably bland. They're fine, they're not disgusting or anything, and they're not that dry, surprisingly, but they are just so ridiculously bland. You might want to dip it in sugar. Anyway, we want a layer of these on the bottom, and it doesn't matter if they're broken up or anything like that. You know, we don't need to be perfect. I don't think in the UK, our trifles have layers of ladyfingers. I think we usually use like sponge or something. I don't know, it's been years since I've had a trifle. There we go. Then a layer of jam. And I've gone for raspberry jam because we're going to be adding raspberries to this, so it makes sense. Also, I feel like a trifle in the UK. Yeah, you would have jam, but you're more likely to have jelly in it. From my experience with trifles anyway. The thing is with trifles, you can make them all different kinds of ways, can't you? I don't think there's any rules. To be fair, this jam will sweeten up the ladyfingers because they were shocking. Now you want custard.
Which I made from scratch.
Which I didn't make from scratch because I can't be arsed. So I just bought Tesco's own. There's literally no way I was making my own homemade custard because I want my custard to actually taste nice, and I know if I made it, it would taste horrible. And also, who's got the time to make their own custard and buy all the fresh ingredients and stuff? It would cost me more money to make it fresh than just buy one of these. I know some people like the satisfaction of making their own custard, and that's fine, but I don't. Nice layer of custard. I absolutely love custard. Honestly, I could drink custard. When I was younger, a treat, or like just like a bedtime snack, was sitting in bed eating a tin of custard without putting it in a bowl or anything. Just take the lid off the custard and then a spoon and just eat it cold. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I was a fat child though, but you know, that's probably just because I sat in bed eating tins of custard.
Massive fatty.
Okay, what's next? I want some raspberries. And stupid me, I put my raspberries at the bottom of my shopping bag and piled all the other groceries on top of them. So when I got them out, they were like proper squished. So I don't think these are gonna... Oh, actually they've held up quite well. Sprinkle some of these on. I'm not a lover of raspberries, to be fair. I find them a bit too tart. That's all the raspberries you're getting as well, because they're an absolute rip-off. And now we want more ladyfingers. Okie dokie. See, and this is the good thing about a trifle. It's all about building layers and adding stuff and just constructing something. It's a very easy thing to make. And like I said before, you can do whatever the hell you want with a trifle. You can make a fruity trifle, a chocolatey trifle. You can add all kinds of like cakes and fruits and just go crazy with it. Go crazy. So now it's come to the portion of where this gets a bit weird. And now it wants my beef sauteed with peas and onions. Which, like, I'm still not kind of mad at it. I'm just gonna drain some of the fat off. Look at all that. Now that I've kind of done this and it's all like sweet and delicious, and now I'm adding beef to it, I feel like it's wrong. When Rachel was making this, she should have been like, hang on a second, this doesn't seem right. But obviously she didn't. And obviously it's a TV show and it's not real and it was just for entertainment, but still. Okay. And you go, yum yum yum. Actually, you know what? I think I've made just enough. I still don't think this is going to be bad though. I genuinely don't. I still think it's going to taste quite nice. I don't know whether I'm being delusional. I don't know, the combination is actually going to be foul, but it doesn't freak us out. And now it wants more custard. I do like custard and I do like beef. Do I like custard and beef together? We're going to find out. Also, if you wanted to make this at home, you don't have to use beef. You could use like, I don't know, like a tofu or something if you want that kind of experience. Because you can get a lot of like decent meat alternatives these days, can't you? Them Impossible burgers, although they're ridiculously expensive, are actually quite nice. I can't taste the difference. There we go. So we've got custard. Oh, this is proper coming along now, isn't it? And now it wants a layer of bananas. You'll have to let us know if it's freaking you out yet and whether it's something you would eat. For me, it's not freaky at all. I've eaten a lot worse things. Look at that. Oh dear. These bananas are tiny. I'm gonna have to go down and get some more. I was thinking about taking this into work when I'm done, but I don't know whether anyone would appreciate it.
What the fuck fuck is that?
I think they would like a normal trifle. I work with a lot of vegetarians and vegans, so I don't know whether they would... Well, obviously they wouldn't want to eat it because it's got beef in it. It's just a shame because there's like a lot of food here and I don't feel like anyone's going to want it. But I think it's actually going to taste fine. I can hear one of the dogs outside my door already. And I know for a fact it's Abel wanting this trifle. He'll eat anything. If I stayed still long enough, he would eat me. Right, I've got a couple more bananas. I've just had to bypass 2 hungry dogs on the London, so I think I'm going to be sharing my trifle with them. Are they allowed to eat all of this? They can't have grapes, but I think they can have raspberries. I know obviously like certain things aren't good for them and stuff, but I think they're getting to the age now where I don't know like how long they're going to have left. Like, you know, when they're starting to get like old, and it makes me obviously, well, I just don't want to think about it. So I think you should just spoil them when you can. Why shouldn't they be able to eat a beef trifle just because it's bad for them? As long as it doesn't have like chocolate or poison or anything. I know like grapes and raisins, they're like poisonous for dogs, but I think a bit of custard and beef would be fine for them. But if I put this on the floor, Abel would eat the entire trifle. He would eat the full thing and he would die. He would die eating this trifle because he would eat that much. It's like a fish. He will not stop. He would explode. There would be trifle everywhere. Oh, look at this banana decoration. Oh my god. You would never know there was a layer of beef hiding under there, would you? Look at my skills. That was all just done with my hands as well. I'm proper talented. Okay, and the final layer of this is whipped cream. And I've gone for squirty cream. I feel like squirty cream is fine for this. I don't know whether it meant squirty cream. And I know in America they don't call squirty cream. So this might be whipped cream. I wish we all just called things the same things. It would make life a lot easier. Hang on, I just need to test it to make sure it's alright. Oh my god, squirty cream. It's just perfect, it really is.
Sit on my face.
That was a full tin of squirty cream, how ridiculous. But there we have it, a lovely beef and fruit trifle that Rachel made in Friends. And honestly, it doesn't look too bad. Look at that. Look at all them delicious layers. Oh, wow. If I'd had a bit more fruit, I'd have obviously decorated the top a bit more. And this layer here, it's warming up my hands because the beef's still hot. Okay, so it's time to serve this trifle. And obviously we want all the layers. So we're gonna go really deep in there. Try and get a bit of everything. Oh yeah, a bit of the cream. Yum. Right down to the bottom where that jam is. And the raspberries. Oh, it smells interesting. It's gone a little bit watery. I feel like the lady fingers could have been like chopped up a bit. Okay, I think that's enough. So if you're coming round mine for a little bit of trifle, this is what you would be greeted with. How delicious and beautiful is that? I want to see if this tastes like feet, because Ross said it tasted like feet, and I don't know how it can taste like feet. Okay, cheers everyone. You know what? I'm not gonna lie, that is absolutely delicious. I don't know whether I'm weird, but it's really, really good. Like all the layers are just nice. You've got like a hint of meat. The meat's not overpowering. You get like the sharpness of the raspberry. It's deliciously custardy. It doesn't taste like feet at all. I know it shouldn't go together and all of the rest of it, but I would be Joey, and I'd be going round finishing everyone else's for them. It's obviously not as nice as like a traditional trifle. I think the onion, when you get like a little bit of onion, that's like, oh wow, oh there's an onion in there. So that's like a little bit weird. The peas are fine, the beef's fine.
I like it.
It's just fine, the banana's nice. A little bit of crunch from the lady fingers. See, in that mouthful, it was very meaty and it was more savoury than it was sweet. So you just get different mouthfuls each time. It's like you're eating lots of different things. Well, because you are. Because none of it goes together, but it does at the same time. Is that banana or is this jam? I don't even know what that is. Banana. Honestly, 10 out of 10. Rachel was onto something. I wish I wasn't trying to be good and I eat my salads and stuff because I would, well, I could probably finish that entire trifle, you know. But I'm trying to really, really be like really good, but I could easily, especially the cream layer because I absolutely love cream. And look at that. It's proper like food. Well, that just about does it for today's episode of Cooking with Ant. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And let me know whether you'll be trying to make your own beefy trifle. Or if not, whether it's just inspired you to make a normal fruity trifle. Because you just can't go wrong with a trifle.
I love a bit of homemade trifle.
I've just realised I've still got custard in here too. You can't go wrong with custard either. Is this gluten free? I didn't even check. Yeah, it's fine. I nearly worried there because I've eaten so much custard. And if you come across any weird and wonderful recipes that you want me to try on the channel, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. And I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Obviously, since I was talking about Abel, I had to let him come in and try some. What's going on with your foot? You absolutely stink. What have you been rolling in? Alright, do you want to try a bit of beef? Obviously you like minced beef. Is that yummy? Do you want to try a bit of cream? See, it's even Abel approved. Abel even likes it. But you like everything, don't you? You're a little fat man. You absolutely stink. What have you been doing? Where have you been? Do you want some more beef? There we go. I don't think you're allowed onions. I think they're bad for dogs, but you're not a pea. Would you like a pea? There you go.